Page 10, the Wild Colt, excuse me. But here we're talking more about interpreting music. Interpreting music is putting feeling into the music. It's putting emotion into the music. It's not just playing note, 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 note. Now, in the written music, they're telling you a little bit how to interpret it. They put in a speed that tells you how fast to go. That's part of interpreting. They give you the staccatos and legatos and things, the slurs. That's part of interpreting. They give you the dynamics, how loud or soft to play. That's part of interpreting. It's a starting point, but you can take it a little bit further than that. First, we got to get the mechanics out of the way. We got to learn the piece first. And so it's more automatic, the notes and all, and we can start feeling the music and getting into the music. So let's look it over. It looks like it's a page and one line long. Now there's repeat signs, but it's a page and a line of music to learn, about 5 lines of music. That's not saying 4 lines is a page. It just happens to work out that way here. Treble bass clef to start. 3 4-time signatures, so we're only counting to 3, but quarter note still gets a count. The hands, for the most part, are playing one hand at a time, so I will take both hands together. And I try and connect everything at first. We'll do the articulation later. So we're here, 4th finger here for the left hand. That puts the hand here. And the right hand is 2 and 4 on D and F. And I trust you know the names of the notes in the music. Otherwise, you're lost. I focus more on that in the method book, not on this. This is like an interpretation book, technique and interpretation. Yeah. So we're here. C position. And it's just a 1, 2, 3. 1. Like that. Measure 5 at the top of page 11. You see the 5 and above it, that's measure number. Okay. That's just the left hand. And then on measure 9 is the right hand. And then measure 13 is back to this. 2, 3, 1, so forth. So that's basically the notes and the rhythms. Then I'll go back over it slowly and get rid of any hesitation, so it's a steady beat from start to finish. And once I've done that, then I add the articulation. That's slurs and staccatos and stuff like that. Here, connect these, connect that. But these, flex of the wrist, short staccato. And then measure 5, we're going to connect this. It says a full rich tone. I'll come back to that. Right now, just connect the notes. Same thing in measure 9, connect the notes. Now, when you get to the end of these lines, the first and second line on page 11, lift up. It's a phrase. It's like a musical thought or musical sentence. And you take a breath between them, you lift up. So at the end of the first line, well, the first line is this. Before I go to the second line, I'm going to lift up. So there's just a little bit of silence. I'm not going to connect this and this. No. We want a little like that. And the same thing at the end of the second line here. Before I repeat or go on, either one, I'm going to lift up. So there's a little silence, so I'm putting in the phrasing. And then it goes back measure 13 to what you're doing at the beginning. Okay. So once I have an idea what the articulation is doing, then I add the dynamics. P at the beginning is piano or soft. Here, gallop softly. But then on measure 5, forte is loud, heavy. You stand that way until measure 15 or so. When you come down a little bit, the mezzo forte, sort of loud. And then measure 17 is soft again. It's like the Colt was off in the distance, and it got closer and closer and closer, and it's up here, and now it's going back away because it didn't like us or something. But okay, whatever. So it kind of builds up in the middle and it comes back. A lot of pieces do that. Then after the dynamics, I think about the speed. Rather quickly. Oh, okay. It needs to be accurate. Think about how... Boom, boom. missed it before, above measure 13 on staff, there is a note to play 1 octave higher. Now, it's just for those 2 beats. And you see the 8VA in the dashed line, that's the musical symbol to play an octave higher or lower. Because you can go either direction. And an 8 means 1 octave, okay. And in case you're not sure of this, the rule for that symbol, the 8VA thingy, is it applies as long as the dashed line goes across, it applies. So it's only applying the 2 beats there, because that's all, as long as the dashed line lasts. And it only applies to the staff it's next to. It doesn't apply to both staffs. If they want both staffs to move, they have to have the 8VA above both staffs, or they got to put in a note, both hands, something. So only the top staff is affected, so only the right hand moves, not the left. And it depends on where it is as to where you go. If the 8VA is above the staff, you go up. If the 8VA is below the staff, you go down, because it can go either direction. Here, the 8VA is above, so we're going to go up. Instead of here, we're just coming up here, and it's only the right hand. Their left hand didn't move. Which makes sense, because it's only above those two notes. It's not above the left hand at all. But if they had started the 8VA on the first beat of the measure and gone across the whole measure, it would still just be the right hand, because it only affects the staff it's next to, not both staffs, unless it says different. Now, once you have the mechanics out of the way, let's start thinking about interpreting a little bit. There's different things we do in interpreting, and I just present a little bit at a time. As I said, the dynamics and speed and articulation, that's all part of it. Remember, too, the natural accent. 1, 2, 3, 1. You feel the first beat of a measure. 3, 4 times, that's all you get. 1, 2, 3, 1. You exaggerate them if you need to, like a measure 5. To get the feeling of it, but really they're natural accents, so you don't force them. You feel them. You feel 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. If you feel them, it'll come out in the music, and the listener will pick up on it. And they say measures 5 and 9, rich full tone. You're playing loud, and you're passing weight from figure to figure, and that's about as much control as we have over a rich full tone. It's a you're definitely playing, because you're playing loud and you're doing legato. Just let the piano take a rich full tone for you. We don't have a lot of control over that. It's not like a wind player that can adjust things going on to produce different quality of tone. In piano, we have very little we can do to change the quality of the tone. The piano just plays it. A little bit here and there, but not much. Now remember the repeat sign. You have a repeat sign at the end of the second line on page 11, but there's a reverse repeat sign in measure 5. So you're only going to repeat back to there. If the reverse repeat sign were not there, you'd go all the way to the beginning. No. So you're just going to play those 2 lines twice. Let's play this together and make sure you have all the correct notes and rhythms. I'll give us 3 counts because there's 3 beats in a measure. I'm not doing loud as sauce. We're not performing it. We're just checking notes and rhythm. But we will do the repeat. 1, ready, go. 2, 3. 2, repeat. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3, tie, 2, 3, off. There's a duet for this at the bottom of page 10. I'd like to play that. And you play what we just played, but I'm going to speed it up a little bit. And again, I need you to go up an octave, both hands. So just pretend the middle C on the piano instead of here is here. And instead of here, you're up here. Play it up here. Up here. I'll give us 3 counts then. 1, ready, go.